Mark Zuckerberg was born May 14, 1984 in White Plains, New York. He developed an interest in computers at an early age. He had a private computer tutor who said he was showing excellence in the field and he couldn't keep up. He studied at Exeter in 2002, and when graduating he enrolled in Harvard University. During this time, he created a website called CourseMatch that helps students choose their classes. Zuckerberg and his friends also created a site that allowed users to upload photos and communicate with other people. After his sophomore year, he dropped out of Harvard and focused his all to Facebook. After becoming one of the youngest billionaires in the world, Facebook was becoming to be one of the biggest social media platforms. But hackers began to sell private Facebook information that was one of the first Facebook data issues. Hacker Group published private messages from 81,000 Facebook user accounts and claims to have access to 120 million profiles and was selling the information on the dark web. Facebook, beginning to back themselves up, says the hackers got the information through a malicious browser extension. Even though it isn't Facebook's fault, but it makes them stay in the negative perception of the people and its platform. Facebook has more personal insights and information than any other company in history. They built an effective ad and targeting system which comes the responsibility to protect the data and control its usage. Becoming the biggest social media platform will come with faults, and they need to come together and figure out a way to save their brand and protect their identities and personal information to the lives of many. The dark web is no joke and could lead to more dangerous issues.
From interesting news about how Facebook became one of the biggest social medias to unbelievable offers he's turned down. Here are 10 things you should know about Mark Zuckerberg. Hey guys, it's your host, American Eye. But first, we'd like to give a quick shout out to this person who left a comment on the right answer during last week's trivia. Stick around for this week's, and maybe we'll feature you. Number 10. Mark Zuckerberg's net worth. His net worth was estimated at roughly $61 billion at the beginning of the year, making him the 6th wealthiest person on the face of the planet. But that's all changed now when the price of Facebook stock plummeted in July recently. He's still got $42.3 billion in any case after losing an estimated $18.8 billion overnight. Facebook shares fell 16%, and he's only estimated to be the 8th wealthiest person on the face of the planet now. Although he's still got plenty of cash in the bank, you have to wonder what it would have felt like to lose that kind of money in such a short period of time. The stock has seen slow but pretty steady increase after the plunge, but it's hard to predict what the next scandal of his company will be. He owns a $7 million estate in Palo Alto, which uses artificial intelligence. One of his more controversial expenditures was when he spent $100 million on properties and filed lawsuits against Native Hawaiians who showed interest in owning pieces of land here. Others also didn't like the fact that the property was a former sugar plantation. Number 9. Mental health risks. Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg have recently acknowledged that Facebook can have mental health impacts on their users. The media has also been bringing to light more red flags about this company. The programmers have admitted to using similar features as Las Vegas slot machines in order to make their website as addictive as possible. They've admitted that the likes that show up in your notifications are meant to be spread out during a longer period of time. This means if you update a new profile photo, they control at what time someone else might view your profile. This spreads out the time of the likes you get, maybe making you come back to their site more often. Social media has been known to create a rush of dopamine, and anything that usually causes that is either illegal or has some kind of age restriction. Many people have felt depression after comparing their lives to other lives who are just briefly displayed online. The truth is, people don't always look that great 24/7, and with a plethora of filters out there nowadays, we don't know what we're looking at. We're only seeing a photo that's from the right angle and with the right lighting, so don't let it bring you down.
Facebook says it's dealing with the largest security breach in the company's history. The cyber attack, which happened Tuesday, exposed the personal information of nearly 50 million users. It's just the latest hack on the social media giant. Let's get more on what this all means from Nicholas Thompson, editor-in-chief of Wired magazine. Nick, good morning.
Good morning.
I was one of the people who got hacked too. My email got hacked, and suddenly my account was sending out stuff. I think a lot of people experienced this. What exactly do we think they got?
We don't know. Hackers got access to people's complete Facebook profiles, meaning that they could do whatever they wanted to do inside of your account, and they could see anything. The most damaging possible things are if they were to look in your Facebook messages,
Right.
and you have all kinds of personal information in there. If they look in your security preferences and get information about your two-factor authentication and your cell phone number, and then they also got access, potentially, to apps that you use Facebook login in. So, for example, I use Facebook to log into Spotify.
Yep.
So they could have adjusted, well, they could have adjusted my playlist, but I mean, like, there are serious things that they could have done.
Serious for some of us.
The dark web has hidden a network of websites that take certain steps in order to get into. Because it's so hidden, it is popular for criminals to use for trafficking of stolen personal information, just like they did for Facebook. The dark web not only steals your identity, there are also a lot of illegal activity that goes on, like sex trafficking, selling drugs, and more. The idea of someone's personal information being sold on the dark web is scary, and the people who are going through this have the right to be worried. In my opinion, if this was me, I would be worried and would want Facebook to come up with a way to fix it. Hackers gain access to personal data such as name, contact information, demographic details, hometown, birth date, and details of other friends found on user's profile. They also can go into your messaging and find out other information about you through there and the people you talk to, which can put them into danger. Keep an eye on banking, financial, and other sites. Given that they already have access to a lot of your personal information, hackers can use complex social engineering techniques to pretend to be you. If this is happening to you, keep an eye on your bank account, which is a helpful way of being aware and making sure you know the precautions to take if it gets to that point. Hearing about this makes me want to check my bank account to make sure my money isn't being stolen and my identity isn't being stolen on Facebook either. Being one of the biggest social media platforms, when Facebook came out, I was the first to go on. After a while, I began to see a lot of people saying that they were getting hacked, and that made me not want to use Facebook. Even though it wasn't Facebook's fault, all the information I had in there was private, and I didn't want it to be stolen at such a young age. In a quote from Mark Zuckerberg, he said, "We have a responsibility to protect your data, and if we can't, then we don't deserve to serve you." He never actually said sorry in his initial Facebook post, but he also said, "So this was a major breach of trust, and I'm really sorry that this happened," Zuckerberg said, adding that this company's responsibility now is to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Being in the spotlight, he feels obligated that he had to say something.
I want to start with just a basic question, Mark. What happened? What went wrong?
So this was a major breach of trust, and I'm really sorry that this happened. We have a basic responsibility to protect people's data, and if we can't do that, then we don't deserve to have the opportunity to serve people. So our responsibility now is to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And there are a few basic things that I think we need to do to ensure that. One is making sure that developers like Alexander Kogan, who got access to a lot of information and then improperly used it, just don't get access to as much information going forward. So we are doing a set of things to restrict the amount of access that developers can get going forward. But the other is we need to make sure that there aren't any other Cambridge Analyticas out there, right, or folks who have improperly accessed data. So we're going to go now and investigate every app that has access to a large amount of information from before.